We are going now to be receiving LEONE KUHNGABA. He is the representative of Africans Rising, an NGO which is fighting against the enslavement of Africans by Africans. And of course, LEONE KUHNGABA is here to talk to us about the African Liberation Day that's always commemorated every 25th of May. LEONE KUHNGABA, good morning and welcome to Vision Card Television.
Good morning, Prince, and good morning to all our viewers. It's a pleasure always being on Vision Card to talk about issues related to our nation and Africa as a whole.
Okay, so we are going to be celebrating the African Liberation Day that is coming up on the 25th of this month, that is Saturday. So if somebody were to ask the question, what is the commemoration of African Liberation Day all about?
Thank you very much, Prince. I think the African Liberation Day is a day which Africans use to celebrate their culture, celebrate their togetherness, celebrate their unity, and celebrate the greatness and all our natural resources and the riches we have and the potentials. When I talk of the potentials here, I talk about the human potentials and the natural potentials that we have. Talking about the celebration of the African Liberation Day this year, it's a special year because the theme of this year is focused on modern slavery and human trafficking. As you know as well, today most Africans are being used as slaves in other countries away from Africa and even in Africa, and we've been into stories of human trafficking that is more expanding and becoming wider in our nations and our continent, and we think it was time for African Rising, which is a Pan-African movement for dignity, justice and peace, to fight or to communicate or to make sure that we raise awareness on the theme which is very important this year.
Okay.
And we will be carrying activities as well. Okay,
maybe if I could ask, why the theme, why the focus this year on Africans are not for sale, stop slavery and human trafficking? Why the focus on this particular theme?
If you've noticed, Prince, if we just take the case study for Cameroon, you will see that many of our sisters are being used in countries like Kuwait, in the Middle East, like slaves, not only for labor, but for sexual slavery as well. And we have also what we call child slavery, child forced labor, which is being practiced in almost all the African countries. And that's what we want to raise awareness to, call on those who are in charge of the legislation to make sure that they put good laws and make sure that those laws should be applicated and to be taken into consideration when these laws are being violated, because we see that the phenomenon is growing and growing wider. And the theme is not being chosen by African Rising, it's chosen by all the African countries, by all the institutions like the African Union. But African Rising is there to amplify through many campaigns by carrying out activities in various countries. And in Cameroon already, we have activities in Yaoundé, Douala and Bamenda, and these activities will be from the 24th to the 25th, and it will go from advocacy and sensitization activities. In Bamenda and Douala, we have campaigns to sensitize the population related to the team, and also to inform them about the existence of African Rising and what African Rising is all about. Secondly, on the 25th, we'll be meeting some parliamentarians here in Yaoundé to discuss with them, to see how they can put in place suitable laws that will help contribute to eradicate this phenomenon in our society, and particularly in Cameroon. And these parliamentarians will be those of the upper house and the lower house, that's the Senate and the Parliament, and that will be an advocacy event that we are organizing as well.
Okay. All right, before we take leave of you, so how can this commemoration of the African Liberation Day help to improve on the African integration, socio-economic development?
Prince, I think this is the second year we are celebrating in grand style in Cameroon with African Rising. Last year, the topic was related to corruption and bad governance. And the impact that we did was to make sure that we sensitize people on the existing laws and make sure that people are aware or know all the necessary instruments they have to denounce all the acts of corruption and bad governance going around them. This time around, it concerns human being, it concerns social ills and something that is directly connected to the people. When we talk of modern slavery, people are today working on that. People are today going through that, but without knowing that they are under modern slavery. For instance, when somebody is under a bad condition, working under a bad condition, we see some of the foreign companies who come here and use our compatriots more than what they had to do, and they don't respect their rights. And secondly, we know that most young people, most of our young girls and women are being used sexually today for money purpose, and we want to raise awareness, make sure that people are aware, know that it exists and that we can stop that. The impact that we think we will have on this year's theme, or the impact on the people, will be that people will be aware that these things are happening and we have existing law and the legislation is there to help us counteract and stop it.
Okay. All right, LEONE KUHNGABA, it's been a pleasure having you on Vision Card this morning to talk about the African Liberation Day that's coming up on the 25th of this month, and you say you have several activities to be organized across the national territory. We hope you'll be inviting us to some of the activities to have more idea and equally help to sensitize about the African Day Liberation Movement.
I'm the one thanking you, Prince, and thanking Vision Card and the entire team for giving us this opportunity to communicate and let people know about the events that we are organizing and to raise awareness on the theme of this year, which is very important, and to make sure that Cameroonians and Africans be aware that Africa is not for sale, and we are the ones to make sure that we are not for sale.
Thank you very much, LEONE KUHNGABA, for coming, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the news this morning.